much. Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Moore. Yuda.
Here.
Prieto. Spitali.
Here.
Tyler. Warple.
Here.
Button.
Here. Let the record reflect that 6 members are present, 4 in chambers. Next item on the agenda, you should have received in your board packet the meeting minutes for February 6th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make.
Councilman Werpel, you have the motion to approve?
Yes.
Is there a second? Second by Councilman Spitali. Been moved and properly seconded to approve the meeting minutes for February 6th. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Moore. Muda.
Yes.
Prieto. Spitali.
Yes.
Tyler. Warple.
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6 in favor and 1 absent. Item number 5 is a report on the work study session. We had a brief discussion regarding funding that is scheduled to come before this board at the next meeting, which relates to our Summer Street project between Columbia Avenue and Indianapolis Boulevard. We're expecting the CIB's proportionate share for the project to be about $1.8 million. The water department share to be about $480,000, excuse me, and about $460,000 from the Hammond Sanitary District. Those are the proportionate utility shares. That is a project funded through a NERC grant administered by the Indiana Department of Transportation, and the project was opened in December at a bid opening through INDOT for a $14 million price tag. And so that's a project that's very much needed, particularly in light of the flooding that occurred in that area, and more importantly on Sherman Street, just east of Columbia Avenue on May the 23rd of 2020. And so this will be the beginning of a way to alleviate that flooding in that area. Any other comments regarding the work study session? Thank you very much. Item 6 would be funding. There would be no report on funding at this time. Item 7 is matters from mayor, council, or other departments. Anyone from those entities wishing to address the board at this time? Councilman Emerson, you're here. Would you like to address the board? If you so please, or not.
Well, no, I just wanted to see where my project was, or projects, the overlays and ornamental lighting. And I announced it at the council meeting. Was Councilman Warple gave his report. So I'm just, in the neighborhood.
Yep. So obviously lighting is done through the council district gaming, and we're working on consolidating a lighting project to go forward. We actually, through the engineering department, we submitted the list that we currently have to our engineer, Nice Engineering, and they've given us a breakdown, and so I'd be happy to share that with you. Hopefully tomorrow, if that works for you, I can certainly send that to you. As for resurfacing, we haven't set our budget fully, but we're trying. I've made a promise to you that we will commit to getting Forest Avenue done, and we will try to get the other projects that you've requested as well. It's really about the funding we have available.
Okay, good enough.
Thank you very much.
You.
Appreciate your attendance. Any other matters from mayor, council, or other departments? Seeing none, old business. Any old business for the board? Okay, moving on. New business. 9A is a funding allocation for Chicago Street Phase 2, change orders 6 through 10 with the Indiana Department of Transportation in the amount of $10,445.57. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Councilman Spitali. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Werpel. It's been moved and properly seconded for the funding allocation for Chicago Street Phase 2 change orders. Is there any discussion? To reel back, this board had approved change orders number 1 through 5 to the fullest extent, 100% matching. It turns out that NERC has additional spare funding available for the current fiscal year. And so while we approved a previous funding allocation at 100% funding, we are actually getting 80% match money, and that earlier request will be reduced to 20%. What you see before you today is items, change orders 6 through 10, and that is only for the 20% because NERC's matched the 80% federal funding because they had a surplus money available in the current fiscal year. So it would be appreciated if the board would approve this action contained in the cover letter for the change order. Lists the items for which those change orders exist. If the council or if the board would like, I can run through those. If not, there's available for any other discussion. Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Motion to approve.
Sorry, just a roll call on the motion.
Oh.
There's been moved and properly
Sorry.
seconded.
Apologize.
Moore, Muda,
Yes.
Prieto, Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Warple,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6 present and 1 absent. Next item is 9B, funding allocation, general engineering services with First Group Engineering in the amount of $50,000. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilman Spitali. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Muda. It's been moved and properly seconded for the general engineering services funding allocation for First Group. Is there any discussion? This is a biennial, that is every 2 years request from First Group, so that doesn't come up as frequently as some of our others. This general engineering is related particularly to traffic concerns that the city has, where your city engineer needs support in requests related to changes in traffic, reviews of stop warrant analysis, those sorts of things. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Moore, Muda,
Yes.
Prieto, Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Warple,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6 present and 1 absent. Item 9C is a funding allocation for supplemental design services for the state line street closures with First Group Engineering in the amount of $12,000. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Councilman Spitali. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to let Councilman Tyler have that. Moved and properly seconded for the state line closures funding allocation in the amount of $12,000 with First Group. Is there any discussion? As the board recalls, the consultant had prepared a design for the closures along state line, including Kenwood, Cleveland, Wildwood, and Detroit. This occurred about 18 months ago. During that time, or since that time, we've bid the project 3 times. The first 2 times were the project came in at the full extent of the project came in over budget by at least twice. The second time we cut it into 1 street only, and it was still significantly over budget. And so this is the 3rd time we are bidding this project. Hopefully, in light of the labor climate and the contractor availability, we hope to get competitive bids. And so the cost really is to cover the repeated amount of bidding for that particular project. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Moore, Muda,
Yes.
Prieto, Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Warple,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6 6 present and 1 absent. Item 9D is a funding allocation for supplemental design services for the 165th and State Line improvements with First Group Engineering in the amount of $19,000. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Councilman Spitali. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Prieto. It's been moved and properly seconded to approve the supplemental design services for 165th and State Line improvements. Is there any discussion? The request has been made for this project to be expanded. As the board is aware and as the council is aware, this has been a very problematic intersection, particularly eastbound River Oaks Drive to 165th at State Line. There's basically a kink in the road, and it's not well signed, and so part of the solution included work that was to be done by the engineering staff, and we haven't been able to get that work done, and that's coordinating with the City of Calumet City to provide some signs and in terms of what the roadway looks like coming ahead, to petition for a reduced speed limit, and to erect certain signs at that intersection. And so what we're trying to do is improve the visibility. The greater project was for a reconstruction of the surface of the roadway at State Line and 165th to protect that south side sidewalk guardrail block section that's currently there. Councilman Emerson, I'd entertain any comments
Yeah,
you might have.
that's been a really sore spot for years, and that guardrail's hit at least monthly by people coming over from Illinois, or it could be Hoosiers, I don't know. But is that guardrail going to stay in place, or is there?
It'll be replaced.
Well, because we've had cement blocks from the street department there, and that didn't work out too good. They hit those.
Sure.
And ruined their car, probably. So anyway, yeah, that's great.
So
Any signage would be appreciated, too.
Yep, improved signage, lit, illuminated signs. Somewhat, you may have seen some of them around in other communities where they're backlit signs so that
Yeah.
they're much more visible. The concern we had with design is that we didn't want to construct a crash wall, because that in and of itself would be, it potentially could cause a fatality if
Sure.
the car were to run directly into a crash wall.
Yeah.
And so the guardrail will help lessen the impact. Fully expect that the guardrail could be sacrificial, but everything that we're doing is building to make an improved intersection and to give the driver warning. The shoulder will have a concrete shoulder that will sort of be raised and have corrugations in it, so when the car starts to leave the travel lane, it will rumble as it comes up, so we're trying to gather their attention.
Yeah.
This is really the best solution, short of realigning the west approach, which would be in Cal City.
Yeah, and that'd be great. It's not going to be like those Raceway Park
No,
or
sir.
something where they're actually
No, it's not super
vertical.
elevated. No, but it's raised to the point where it would sort of direct the car.
So it'd be like those things on the expressway,
Like
letting
rumble
them
strips.
know
Sort of like
that you're
rumble.
going off the road?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sort of like that, only a much more abrupt.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. Thank you for that discussion. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Moore. Muda.
Yes.
Prieto. Spitali.
Yes.
Tyler. Warple.
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries, 6 present and 1 absent. That ends new business. The next item on the agenda was public expression. This is the point in the meeting where if anybody would like to address the board for anything, that's great. I do notice that we have two young people in the audience who've come, I guess, as civics lesson to come into a public meeting. We're happy to have you here. It's great to see you here, and we're happy to entertain any questions you might have too. Thank you. Okay, seeing none, no further public expression. The next regular meeting of the Capital Improvements Board will be held on Monday, March the 6th, and I expect a work study session at 4:30 and a regular meeting at 5. If there's nothing left for this board, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.